El Nino, you may have heard, is back, and it could be the strongest on record. If you were around back in 1997, you may remember this weather phenomenon. 23,000 people died in cyclones, droughts, and fires in Southeast Asia, Latin America, and California. El Nino could bring torrential rain to the drought-stricken West Coast, and of course that could also bring flooding and mudslides. Almost every forecast is predicting right now that this will be the strongest El Nino since records began in the 50s.
Yeah. And we've been talking about it endlessly for months, and it's developed nicely. And Dean, some of the models take this thing off the chart. Remember, it's half degree above average gets you into El Nino territory. Right. There are models that say we could be 3 degrees above average. That might sound like a lot. That's huge.
And that's way in the area where you know it's not going to back down, that we're going to remain in that.
Yeah, and the question is what happens. So it doesn't mean that the impacts jump up as the temperature jumps up. Right. So they don't necessarily correlate, but it does look good for us. And by the way, we have a full map on that tonight at 10. We're going to break it all down, so you have to watch.
We're going to watch at 10?
You got to be here.
All right.
Who else is going to read all those stories?
Good point. No, that's a good point.
Jess has already quit.
I hadn't thought it through.
Yeah, I mean, you're the only guy we've got left on the bench. Yeah. It's like an all-star game.
Well, some people are committed, Mark.
Yeah.
Maybe more than others. I don't want to name names.
No, I don't want to name Jess or Kim Baez. I mean, neither one of them thought it was important to show up today.
Why would we do that? Why would we mention them?
I'm not sure why we would. Oh. Okay, here's a look at what's going on. And we do have clouds out there. Not a lot in the way of showers. As we get through the next couple of days, there is going to be more moisture in the atmosphere. We are going to have a better chance to get more storms going, but we go up to Red River where they've had partly cloudy skies throughout the afternoon hours. A couple showers have tried to get going here, but most of the action is off into the northeast. But you can look into the canyons outside of Red River, and they are getting a little bit wet at this point. But as you can tell here, most of the action now just south of Raton, stretching all the way down into areas of Harding County and over into Mora County, and some of this in San Miguel County too. Places like Las Vegas have done pretty well today for at least some shower activity across the southeast. Some spot storms here. A wider view shows while it's not a huge storm day out there, we do have a few storms out in the western edge of the state. We're seeing much more storm activity than we've seen in past days with that high pressure overhead. The high is starting to migrate now. It will continue to do that. We reached a record high today of 98 degrees in the Albuquerque area. We're down to 96 now. South-southeast winds at 15 miles an hour. Temperatures across the north mainly in the 70s and 80s, but we have hit the 90s in areas like Grants and Tucumcari. Down to the south, it's still extremely hot. 99 in Deming, 105 in Carlsbad, and in Roswell, well over 100 degrees. High pressure is just going to slide to our west here. That's going to open the moisture door from the south, allowing for at least some shower activity here. So that high slides, and tomorrow it's not necessarily going to be a big storm day, but we'll have scattered storms across the state, and then a little better storm day, I think, on Sunday, northeast to southwest. Shot at cranking up more storms across the area. We will have some showers on the edge of the metro area, so we'll get a chance to get a few of those storms going too. A look at how things shake out by tomorrow afternoon. Scattered storms across the south and across the northern mountains, and then a better crop of storms focuses in northern mountains and southern mountains for the day on Sunday. Monday, too, looks like one of those days when we're going to see at least a decent crop of storms developing by later on in the day. Let's go region by region. Partly cloudy skies up around southern Colorado. But if you're in the mountains to the north of Durango and Pagosa Springs, you're still looking at a pretty good shot at least a passing shower, but nothing I'd change plans around. 94 in Farmington, 91 in Gallup, 89 in Grants. Over to the southwest, temperatures here 80s and 90s, including 98 in TRC, 100 Deming and Lordsburg. Over to the southeast, a little bit of relief from the heat. Now, I know it's still really hot at 98 in Roswell, 97 in Carlsbad, but considering you guys were in the 104 and 105 range today, it is improvement. 86 in Roy, 89 Springer, 86 in Las Vegas. Shot at storms over the northern mountains. Temperatures for the most part in the 70s and 80s. Good crop of scattered storms each afternoon through the weekend. 86 in Cedar Crest, 87 in Edgewood, and finally here in the metro area, we'll start it off in the 60s, warm it up well into the 90s with a chance at a passing shower through the weekend here. The temperatures do cool down a bit into next week to the high 80s.
All right, looks good, Mark. Thank you.